Consolidated Infrastructure was formerly known as Buildworks Group and originally listed on the JSE in 2007. The company builds high voltage electrical substations through its power distribution subsidiary Conco. It has a market cap of 1.5 billion rand and a price to earnings ratio of 9. Now, when I read this story, I immediately got excited about Conco. Am I justified in being excited about this power play?
Yes, we're hugely excited about Conco. We think that this is a dominant player in the sub-region in sub-Saharan Africa in terms of high voltage substations. It's also got an electrical high voltage overhead wire, transmission wire installation business. And it's got a very nice kind of geared play on renewables in the wind contracts that are being awarded now. Conco is kind of touted to possibly earn about R1 billion out of the renewable energy space over the next several years. But we think that the management is exceptionally impressive. A guy called Raul Gamsu is an operator. They've also got some legacy businesses in the drift super sand and the tile business, which are washing their own face, and there's a huge kind of out the money call option on improved housing demand. And those businesses, I think, could have huge operational leverage through increased turnover.
Anthony is excited about this story. And yourself?
Yeah, look, I mean, as he says, Raul Gamsu is an impressive guy, and he's saying gives the impression of being a high energy sort of fellow. It was interesting because the original business which was listed, he was involved in, and then this Conco business came on board, and that's now the new direction. You'd have to say though that it hasn't been the most spectacularly successful listing because they came on quite hot. Then they got absolutely crushed during the 08-09 thing. Then they did the deal, and they've done very well since then. So it's definitely the kind of case where you actually have to know the background and the people to know whether it's kind of trading where it ought to be. It's not all that liquid, although not that bad. It's picked up over time. So a bit of a specialist story. My only concern about the electrical industry we're talking about here tonight is we know electricity prices are rising. So that's put a bit of a dampener on capital spending in the space, although I do concede there's all this backlog to catch up.
12.85 rand. Let's talk valuation. If you're excited about the story, where is this stock trading? Is it at fair value or is there potential upside here?
We think it'll earn R1.11 rand to August next year. So it's fairly fully priced at the moment. But I think the long-term growth prospects would afford one to grow into the kind of the steamy valuations.
What are we talking about long-term prospects?
Well, I think this company can easily grow at 20% plus a year for the next 10 years.
All right, now I'm going to push you. What do you mean steamy valuations?
Well, it's trading on a forward P of about 12. For a small cap, that's quite pricey. But I think that the quality of management, the sector, the tailwinds that the sector has, the prospects in terms of electrification throughout Africa. I mean, sub-Saharan Africa generates the same amount of electricity as Spain does. There's 60 million people in Spain. There's 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa. So the World Bank thinks that $500 million are going to be spent on electrification, or that's generation and transmission, between now and 2030. This company
could this be the 10-bagger of the next decade?
I think so, yes.
Oh, there's a convincing argument. The 10-bagger of the next decade. You've got to go into these 10-baggers.
Yes, look, and I think the macro story is important when considering investments because clearly you need some open road in order to advance forward. It's not as though they don't have competitors in this same space, but they certainly are one of the more compelling companies. So
hot or not for Consolidated Infrastructure?
I'm happy to give it that hot name.
This is a turnaround. You don't really give a thumbs up to most of the stocks we discuss. Anthony?
Yes, it's hot.